Hello, my fellow movie fans, and welcome to the new adventures of A Feast of Films Theatre with your hosts, Jesse Prosser and Ethan R. Hill.
In Technicolor.
I want Twister really badly, but there's probably going to be a 4K.
Yeah.
But I could get the Blu-ray, and my track record is as soon as I get the Blu-ray, the 4K is going to get released.
100%. That's what happened with fucking Fright Night.
It's what happened with Fright Night. It's what happened with, I don't know, name a movie is probably what happened with it.
Doesn't matter if it's a 4K or not, as long as it comes with the game.
Twister, the game? Is that actually a thing?
Twister.
Yeah, fucking...
Oh, the board game.
The board game Twister!
I thought there was like a video game.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine Twister, the video game?
I'm just imagining, like, because, like, it would be one back in the 90s on the NES, you'd have to shoot the tornadoes.
No, see, and I'm
it'd be
thinking...
Contra.
I'm
Actually,
thinking, like,
that's very American. I just saw a thing recently about how, like, on the American, like, I don't know if it's Weather Network or something, but it has, like, a thing where it's like, don't shoot the hurricanes, it won't make them go away.
Well, I know at one point, I can't remember who said it, but it's like, what if we just nuked the hurricane? It's like, that would cause so many more problems. Can't we just bomb the hurricane? Which, like, you're correct, the hurricane would disappear, and then you just have nuclear fallout remaining.
But, like, I'm thinking, like an illegitimate Storm Chaser game, like a Twister, like, if it was the GameCube era or PlayStation.
Well, if it was the PS2 era, you would play as the Twister, and you would destroy houses.
There's that.
Because that's what the Jaws game was. That's what that, like, Predator Concrete Jungle, of course. Like,
yeah, but I want to play as Bill Paxton and just chase tornadoes. Like,
It's like
it could be. You have to admit that could be a fun idea.
Well,
what
if they
actually
can make
is it's Twister, but it's like that storm chasing idea crossed with like Pokemon Snap. So it's like you're just in a vehicle and you gotta take photos, and like depending on your photos depends on how good and helps with the scientific rating.
You have to take photos. You have to go and warn towns that they're coming. Like you have to outrun a tornado.
Yeah, you can make a co-op game too.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this is like someone get on this. Like, make this thing happen.
It would be the guys who did what's that game? Plasmophobia, like the ghost hunting game. Get them on it. It's a whole game where essentially you're like paranormal investigators, and it's like a 4-player co-op game, and there's like one guy who stays out in the van to monitor stuff, and then 3 people investigate the house, and you have to determine what kind of spirit it is, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, but it's a computer game.
It's a computer game.
That's why I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
It's 10 out of 10 actually is rated.
That's impressive, man.
100%. Like
10 out of 10 on Steam, 96% on Steam.
90s.
96%. And then Google user reviews is also 96%. So like that's
High ratings. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
That makes me want to like seeing a game like this and hearing that. It's like that would get me into like PC gaming.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's not enough PC gaming out there for like me to justify ever becoming a PC gamer.
Yeah, like there's
And this can't handle it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Matt can't handle it.
Now you'd have to get
his maybe if you got the right stuff.
Yeah.
Probably could, but yours would die.
You just get yourself a Steam Deck.
Mine dies on the internet.
Wait till it comes out in VR.
There. Oh god, I think actually there is a VR version that's being made.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yep. Just like
that would be kind of cool. Even as like the guy in the van, like you sitting there, and you have to look at the different screens.
Yep.
Like that's.
Yep. Except you can also get attacked by the ghost out there if you're not
amazing.
careful. Like it's 100%. Like you have to like monitor your fear levels and stuff like that. Like it's very in depth from what I've been told. It's
as long as you guys get a tattoo on yourself, you cannot be possessed.
Oh yes, of course.
I just feel like there's not much reality there.
Supernatural taught me.
Exactly.
Those dudes get possessed all the time.
No, after they got the tattoos, I don't think they ever did again.
No,
not by demons, at least.
Devin would know.
Yeah, we'd have to ask Devin. Devin, comment below if
did Sam and Dean ever get possessed?
Because they did early on, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to still make it through the first season, and it's shot like a first season, and 2, it's just 23 episodes is not something I'm used to anymore.
Yeah.
It's because you've become soft in your old age and your limited series.
That's exactly sort of what it. I have 2 kids. I don't have much time. I have an hour at night to watch.
Yeah, binging.
Oh, they can watch it with
Yeah,
you.
it's
It's family
it's a
appropriate.
family
It's a
program.
family show. Yeah,
It's a
about 2 brothers. It's basically like
It's like watching with Kieran. I freaked him
yeah,
out.
like
What?
imagine basically what's gonna happen in X amount of years is your sons will become hunters.
Yes.
You'll become the Jeffrey Dean Morgan character, and I'm
However-
sorry, Tiffany, but you come back though. It's fine.
They're about the right age length in that aspect too.
I know, and it's
Yeah,
so
you just gotta.
it's a glimpse into your future,
Exactly.
your spooky future.
Your spooky future.
I did freak him out though. I was watching something or playing something, and Kieran was like, "I don't like this." Oh, it's actually Stranger Things.
Oh. Oh, I don't.
Kieran, wake up!
I don't like this.
I was like watching one of the episodes. I used to like, "Oh, what you watching?" I'm like, "You're supposed to be in bed. Why are you here?" You know, what you watching? Fine, watch. And then Vecna appeared and started doing stuff. He's like,
I don't like this.
He's about that age where you could start showing him Universal monster movies.
Yep.
I think I have. He's bored by them.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand
Damn kids.
good cinema. At
I took him
5.
to see Minions recently. Like, I think a couple days ago.
Did he
and
like that, or
He was impartial to it. Like, when we saw Paw Patrol, he was really excited. But, like, we're watching Minions and stuff. And, like, there's kid jokes going on. And he was just staring at it, like, what is this even about? Like, he literally left the film. Like, oh, what did you think? He's like, it had a bunch of villains in it. I'm like, yeah, that's the show.
that's
What it is.
Yep. That's what you get, kid. That's entertainment.
It's entertainment. It actually is, sadly.
Yeah.
edutainment?
Edutainment.
I remember edutainment.
How many villain shows are out there nowadays?
Like where
Like
villains
shows
are.
about villains?
In a
or
sense, right?
The
'Cause they did
Boys.
they did Joker.
Maleficent. And
Maleficent,
Maleficent 2.
Yeah.
Cruella.
Yep.
Um.
I think they were doing something else. Another like DC one. Birds of Prey, technically.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Suicide Squad in a sense too.
No, because remember, they're the bad guys.
In a sense.
Well, no, they kept reminding us every 10 minutes that they're the bad guys.
Wait, are you talking Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad?
Yeah, is it Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad?
They're the same thing.
No, they're not. One is a movie, and the other is...
No. They're both movies.
Are
Just one is slightly better than the other, but they're both pretty terrible.
I'd still say like marginally it's like it's quite better. Like
Yeah.
if I had to choose between watching The Suicide Squad again versus Suicide Squad,
would
I'd watch another movie.
I'd watch.
but-
I'd watch Peacemaker is what I would watch.
Yes, but
Yes,
if I,
yes, that's the only good thing that actually came out of that. And actually, that's another one, Peacemaker, a villain who...
Well, he's,
no, the other good thing that came out of that was Nathan Fillion as TDK.
who apparently could come back. Because he brought that up on, what was it, Inside You. And just
When were you inside him?
Michael Rosenbaum,
Was inside of Nathan Fillion.
yes. And he was saying, like, what's
It's his
the...
podcast.
He's saying, what's the deal with TDK? Like him being alive? He's like, James said he's not dead, so he probably just wants to keep him around in case he wants to bring him back. It's like...
Is he coming back? Well, I don't know. He might.
I hope so.
So hi, I guess.
Hi, everyone. However long we're gonna let that opening bit run. This is good stuff. Some good stuff.
Why you gotta address the opening bit? Why do you gotta address that it's a bit? Because it's not a bit. That was all real. All of that authentic conversation.
I'll just cut this out.
Now it's glitchy.
Yeah. Now
yeah.
you're just.
We'll just do technical difficulties.
It's not a crutch for you to use. It's in case of emergency.
I used it once.
You used it 3 times.
No, I used it one time in the Ryan episode because we lost our shit.
No, we also there
Sorry,
was
you
that.
lost it, like, as in hard drive, or you guys, like, just...
Like we just
died.
died, and it wasn't the end of the episode like last time you were on.
No, because there was also I think Devin texted me and we had to use it there. And then there was an episode a couple episodes later you had to use it again.
Something like that.
Yeah, so you've used it 3 times.
Either way,
He edits and doesn't remember this stuff. Like I don't even watch the show.
I don't even watch the show.
I always think I should, but like, is that narcissistic?
Put that on the YouTube
don't
description. I don't even watch the show, Ethan Hill.
Like, because like a part of me would love to go back and revisit episodes, but a part of me is like, is it a weird like ego thing to listen to yourself talk?
Well, for me, because I wasn't on those episodes, no. But for you, absolutely.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like that's why I keep saying to you, if like you want to figure out other topics to talk about, go back and like listen to other episodes because, yeah, you weren't a part of them, you don't know.
Yep.
Whereas for me, it's like I feel like I should just remember them.
Right.
But there's also been so many episodes now.
No, and that's fair. But on this particular episode, I don't know if you could tell, but we're going to talk about one of our favorite shark movies.
That was the worst segue
That was
that I ever
absolutely
said.
terrible.
I wanted to not address these things at all for a very
No,
long time, and that's comedy.
No, I had...
Whatever he did,
No, like, I was saying, we're going to talk about our favorite movie involving a shark.
and you were gonna say Deep Blue Sea,
No, I was going to...
Jaws: The Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought it was Back to the Future too.
Yeah, it actually was. Jaws was 19
Yep.
in 3D. Of course.
wow. You don't understand a comical bit, do you?
I mean, I was doing just fine, and then you interrupted, you jerk.
I interrupted you, you ruining a comical bit.
That's fine. I thought it was funny.
Trent,
Sorry, I have to take a moment because he's actually laughing at his own stuff. Like, he called you a jerk, and he's like, "You jerk."
Yeah,
I
thought
he
it
thinks
was...
he's the funniest person in the world, and I'm very happy that you have that confidence.
Yes.
One day it's going to be a harsh reality when you wake up and realize that Mel Brooks still exists.
I can't wait.
Ah.
Wait, what?
He's the funniest man in the world.
Oh, right, I
Yeah.
forgot.
In my opinion.
Of course. But yeah. Either way, the other word...
The whole point is, either way,
Yeah.
it's summertime. It's really hot out. We
Yes, it
were talking about what we wanted to talk about in our show, and we thought summer movies.
And was one of the best movies to kick that off, if not the first summer blockbuster, which was Jaws.
Exactly.
And then Trent just happened to be here, so now he's on the episode.
Yeah, Trent just has...
I'm more disappointed that neither of you are actually wearing your Jaws shirts. Like, you both have a Jaws shirt.
Mine's in the wash.
Yeah. And like I was gonna get up
Keeping it in the water where it's safe.
I was going to get up in the full like a Quint costume, like I've got a green jacket and everything, but then I realized that I would die of heat stroke if I
It's
wore that
actually
the whole
very
episode.
cool down here right now.
It is.
This house is like immaculate
It is.
for
And
moderate
well, I
temperature.
feel
wearing the whole
also
thing.
clearing out the bookshelves, like, I don't know, it just...
We've done some rearranging. And,
Well, they can
No, that's
probably
the
there's
audience, remember?
there's some things missing from behind me that there's normally there.
yeah, but now
that's-
there's a new cool thing.
yeah, it's over there. Now.
Oh my god!
Sorry, the laugh was more actually because of Riley. I didn't realize that poster had him ever doing up his belt buckle. Like, I've looked at it a lot of times,
That's
but
the
I
thing.
didn't
On first,
realize
that's
that.
the best joke of that. Is like at first glance you can't really tell. He just looks confused.
But he's doing up his pants, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Or is he undoing it to piss on us?
It could,
No, he's doing them up because, yeah, there's a whole thing.
the whole thing.
And that'll be saved for a Damned Rights special,
Yeah,
When you
another
get the cast
another
back.
great summer movie.
if we can convince them to come back.
We'll do the whole cast on the podcast. We need a wider lens.
Yes. You need a bigger space in general.
100%.
I mean, or we can just do a cast member per, and we do make it like a 6-part series.
yeah,
Really stretch this out. Really,
Really?
milk.
Then there's
Yeah.
that one cast member. Hey, why am I not a part of this?
No, we'll get him back.
Did I mention? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's 6 people.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you.
because me and you
Yeah,
But what about the villain, technically?
just do
Because
Yeah.
you had 3 people playing it, didn't you? Because you did it.
Alex and Riley.
Alex,
Yeah.
and then I was a hand in one shot.
Which shot?
The one where Wayne's at the door. I was the hand because I was.
Oh
behind
right,
the-
yeah, you
Yeah,
were. I could tell
I
from
put-
the.
I put on the glove and I.
Oh, hey!
That's
Guess
this is
who?
it's one of your. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's my Velociraptor thing I do sometimes.
Because I was also the hand.
That is actually true. Yes, you do that.
Yep.
And I mimicked that movement for the coming out of the fire pit.
Yes. There's a whole lore to the creatures.
Yes, it's a whole thing.
Yes. But, yeah, no, we figured starting off with Jaws be an awesome place to start, because, like, both you and I f***ing love Jaws.
Well, like,
Wow.
it's...
Fine.
But you like Jaws too, like
No, I'm
and
lukewarm on Jaws too.
and
but,
Jaws 3, of course, your favorite of the series.
Jaws is one that messed me up before I even saw it.
Yeah,
Like, I saw clips of it. And I didn't even see, like, I think it was, like, the one clip of, like of Alex Kittner getting eaten.
like the actual attack.
And, like, yeah, I just couldn't watch it for years. And I think the first time I actually watched it was either between 13 and 16 is when I first actually watched Jaws.
Right.
And, like, I loved it. I fell in love with it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so good. And then I'm like, and this movie has sequels? Holy crap!
I gotta watch them all.
And I did, and so I've watched the first and I've watched the second and the third one.
Yeah,
I've only ever seen parts of the fourth one.
yeah. Like my experience, like I've watched Jaws like pretty much since I was like 7 or 8. I think is the first time I watched it, and the first movie I ever watched. Actually, that's my VHS tape up front there. It's the first movie I ever bought, with the behind the scenes as the second VHS tape and all that jazz. And specifically, like, I was obsessed with Jaws, and then, yeah, I found out there were sequels. And it was one of the times I was staying at my grandparents' place. The same grandparents let me watch The Terminator. And I found out that Jaws 1, like, 2 and 3 were going to be on, like, one of the TV channels. But it was, like, 10 o'clock at night is when it started. It was going to go till 2 in the morning. And I was like, can we stay up and watch Jaws 2 and 3? So we, like, my grandpa was just like, oh, God, okay, I guess so. It's like,
Don't tell your mother.
yep. And then we ended up staying. Yeah, he stayed up and we watched Jaws 2 and 3. And, of course, I'm enthralled because, oh, the shark is killing people.
The shark is killing people? Oh, no!
So I was just having a good time, and then of course many years later I bought them all on DVD, including Revenge, and that's when I watched that one, and I was like, this one isn't as good as the other ones. But Michael Caine's in it, so
Jaws is what got you into wanting to make movies, right?
yeah, because as mentioned, like there's the whole documentary, like the shark isn't working, which is on the second VHS, and that was my first real exposure to like behind the scenes featurettes and the concept that somebody made this movie and what they had to do to make it. And I was just enthralled.
In
I was
simple
like,
terms, the special effects.
exactly.
So is that when it, like, when you watch that, you're like, I want to make movies, or that's when you just became aware of, like,
that
what
was
making movies
That was when I became aware of movies being made, and then the aliens behind the scenes is when I was like, I wanna make movies.
How old
like,
were you then?
That was, the quadrilogy came out around the time Alien vs. Predator came out, so that would have been 2003 or 4, I think. If I remember correctly, it would have been around that time.
2004 is when AVP came
So I would have been like early teens, like about 13 or so. And that was...
What about you, Trent? Completely off Jaws topic. What movie made you want to make movies?
I was thinking about that because, like, I was thinking about when my first experience to Jaws, which I can't recall.
The first time you watched Jaws,
I can't recall. Like, the best way to put it is we went to, I think, Disney World when I was about 5 or 6. And we also, since we're in Florida, we went to Universal.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And we went on
the Jaws ride.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the shark, like, it's a boat, and you're going along. And I remember I was sitting there, and it was, like, me on my mom's lap, I think it was. And then it was my dad, and then my sister, and then it was my grandpa, and then my grandma. So there was, like, 5 of us. And the shark came out on my end, and I went, ah! And I ran across all the way to the other side and sat on my grandma's lap.
So you didn't see someone else get attacked by the shark. You were in the section
I was getting attacked. But then when I think about it, it's like Jaws has always existed. And even when I watched Jaws, I can't recall when I first watched it because it was, I guess the best way to put it is I probably had an experience with that shark. Right. Literally. So it's like, oh, I know this. This is Jaws.
My mom's got photos of that ride too, like that she was on way back in the day too.
Explosion and stuff. It's a great ride, in all honesty.
Yep.
But no, when it comes to actually like thinking about the thing that got me into wanting to be movies, like again, that's something I don't know because for me, it was being a kid. It was, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a psychiatrist. Oh, well, that's really hard. What else do you want to do? Oh, I want to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch anything special features related until probably, honestly, the Hobbit stuff is when I probably started
Like Lord of the Rings and all that jazz.
Like not even Lord of the Rings, because I had the special stuff, like special features, but I never watched them. Actually, I haven't even watched all of them yet. I've watched maybe the first.
I mean, to be fair,
two.
there's a lot of them.
So did you watch more special features with us?
Yeah.
Like because of us?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like I used to watch. Actually, no. I guess one of the earlier special features I watched was Underworld.
Oh yeah.
Because they did the werewolf designs, and that was something I was like, holy, because it's like big suits, and they had to like put the individual hairs into the rubber, and that just blew me away. And there were these big silicone suits that they wore, and then they had a modified sort of like sprinter piece for
like the stilts kind of
yeah,
thing. Yep.
Yeah, it's meant for athletes who run if they don't have their knee or like below their knee.
Yeah.
They like modified it to be that, and then they could be in the stilts, and it like gave them large foot, and like that was something I remember seeing. Be like, oh, this is really cool. But like I've always just wanted to be a part of movies, and I really didn't care about behind the scenes until I think. And when I watched that, I was probably, 15, 16 or something like that.
Okay.
Whenever that came out.
No, I dig that, man.
Other than that, yeah, no, I've just never had an interest. And it's still that way, too, because if it's not done good, I don't care. If it's something, if you're watching, like, behind the scenes and it's very boring and not interesting, I'm like, I don't care about it.
Well, that's like...
Peter Jackson, he makes really interesting stuff, especially... having the actors be involved and things like that, and just learning the little shit that goes on.
Yeah,
he knows how to make a good documentary.
Yeah, 100%. Which is like at the end of the day, behind the scenes, it's kind of meant to be a little documentary.
It's a making of documentaries is what they're called.
Like like the Aliens one, it was just like because it literally takes you from the beginning of like the inception of of how Dan O'Bannon kind of came up with the idea of Alien, like goes into Dark Star, all that jazz, takes it all the way through to the end, and like just completely detailed the whole process, and I just became fascinated by the idea. But my first exposure was the shark doesn't work, and that was when I was like, wait, that's not a real shark? They didn't film a real shark? Which there is clips of real sharks in Jaws, but obviously the main one, Bruce, like that's the big mechanical one that they use, and like of course as a kid you're just like, oh, clearly that's a real animal they trained to eat that guy. So
man, that guy must have had a lot of siblings.
yeah.
Well, if you think about it, like that's kind of how they used to do it, is they would just train animals to like,
Yeah,
like Cujo was a trained animal.
Like, 100%.
So to a child's mind, training a shark to do that is like, oh yeah, you take out the teeth and you just okay.
You just tell them not to eat anybody, and
It's actually it's a dolphin in a shark costume.
it's really talented.
Which is crazy because Flipper was the opposite.
It was a
Shark in a dolphin costume.
Yeah, I'll show that dolphin. I'll do a more accurate performance.
And Free Willy was always just Free Willy.
Yes. What a diva.
That was actually a film that I did not enjoy as a child.
Free Willy?
Yeah.
No, my canon is
I need to rewatch it.
the same whale that played Free Willy was also in Orca, but that was like his 1980s like revenge flick era of acting, and now he does kids movies.
Oh, it's like the Arnold thing.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly.
yeah.
That's my head canon now. But no,
On at work a couple of days ago, we were putting away a tent, and we got the thing over top of it, and I looked at Devin and I'm like, so we want to make like a dolphin and Flipper? I thought it was really funny.
that's delightful.
And as opposed to making like a porpoise and Free Willy. When you're going to the bathroom.
Yes, naturally.
So that's what I need to start telling people if I need to go to the bathroom. It's like, well, I got to make like a porpoise and Free Willy.
Blow your hole.
Well, I'm just gonna drink my coffee here.
Bum, 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 bum,
wrong.
So Jaws, guys.
Yes,
so
Jaws. Yes.
so Jaws, like you'd all say that Jaws has had an impact on all of us.
Just
One way
like
or the
just
other, yeah.
Yep, just like an impact.
But I think
Like-
like just within zeitgeist as well, like just within the cultural bubble.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like again those two notes. like, and you know exactly what it is, like, and it's been used. It's either been like parodied or it's been imitated in so many movies.
I say like kind of, but no, it did have an impact. I mean, my favorite thing to do in the summer was go to the beach and go swim. And even though swimming in fresh water,
You're just like,
Oh yeah, like
yeah.
yeah,
like I have a fear of open water, murky water, anything like that. Like there's always just a small thing in the back of my brain being like, "You're next. You're
Yep.
gonna get eaten," and it's like,
You're gonna be the first person to get eaten by a shark in freshwater lake.
no, it's
No,
happened
that's
before because
yeah.
bull sharks.
100%.
Well, yeah, obviously, but they're not like
And then that's
in
what I was actually
Alberta.
going to say is when you learn about bull sharks, you get even more freaked out being in the
Yes.
water.
Well, now I'm googling that.
Because technically, if you were to just throw a bull shark into a freshwater lake, they would be fine.
No, I don't. I thought I read somewhere that they actually do have to adapt a bit.
Like,
Because the way they get usually is through like rivers and streams.
Yes.
And I think they have to adapt.
because I know like inland in I know like inland Florida and like states like that, bull sharks have 100% shown up in like freshwater lakes and creeks and that kind of thing.
So good news, everyone. Our water in Canada is too cold for sharks.
Oh, yeah.
That said, though, apparently there were shark attacks back in Canada in the 1800s.
The world was warmer back then.
I just want to set a new record and get attacked by
I
a shark.
scientifically think that's an incorrect statement, bud.
Yeah, probably. We're gonna cut that out.
I don't want to get political.
I don't know. Because I know in like lakes here there'd be like there's pike, like the big like those big fish, and I always remember seeing the teeth and all that, and people would be like, oh yeah, those things, they can grow up to like 10 feet long. I'm just like, oh my god, that's as big as Jaws. When you're a kid, it's like that's comparative to the size of the shark, right? So it's like, oh my god.
There apparently are sharks off of Vancouver Island, though.
Well, naturally, yeah, I could see that. Actually, I think there is videos of like great whites in the harbor of Vancouver and all that. So it is possible, but like as far as inland where we're at, probably less likely you're going to get attacked by a shark, I would assume.
Not impossible, though.
Not
Just
impossible.
saying, in Alberta,
apparently.
it's like we got ponds. There are ponds out here.
Yeah.
They're not lakes.
Well, there
There
are
are
some.
lakes.
They're
Yeah,
ponds.
there's Cold
They're
Lake,
tiny.
like Calling Lake,
You're a pond.
Baptiste Lake.
I want you to go on Google Maps and I want you to look at the size of lakes in Alberta versus other provinces, excluding Saskatchewan. That's just land.
Saskatchewan has several lakes,
There
thank you.
are 100%.
In fact, when we flood, it's
there's
just
a lot of
one giant lake.
There's a lot of decent sized lakes in Alberta. What are you talking about? Like they're not like massive like the Great Lakes, obviously, but
Yeah,
like
but that's the thing is you look across and you can see the other beach. You're not supposed to be able to do that at a lake.
I guess like a lot of them are like glorified giant rivers, but still like they're decent size. Like you could like boat down the river and go a decent way. Like, but no,
Like, again, mostly lands. And then
Actually,
you go
yeah,
over to
actually.
Manitoba, that's a lake.
That's flooding.
that's
But even if you look at Saskatchewan, it's the same thing. We have
Actually,
yeah,
you do have quite a bit.
there are more lakes in Saskatchewan than there are in Alberta. That's hilarious. And BC just has nothing, but they're mostly mountains. So like,
yeah.
Yeah.
and they have the
There
ocean.
would there'd be like running water off of the mountains and stuff. Like there'd be streams like
East
that.
has all at the bottom.
Yeah, but like nothing major, obviously.
Chicago. Oh, and then
They have like
I guess Manitoba also has Hudson Bay.
yes, you know the famous Hudson Bay.
They sell clothes.
Yes, and Bill Paxton.
Yes.
His character's name.
I know his character name. His character.
We're aware of the. But overall, Jaws is like, again, like for a lot, like it is historically considered the first blockbuster, like summer blockbuster, which was then immediately trounced by Star Wars the year after. But regardless of that, or was it 2 years after?
Star Wars is 77.
Yeah, and
Jaws
Jaws
was like,
I believe it was 75.
was it 75?
I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong about this, I'll be disappointed.
1975.
Yeah, hey! So like it was.
But it was actually released in 1973.
Ooh.
And they didn't count it until 75
Because movies used to
Yeah.
run for way longer back in the day. 'cause
even
there
though
was
they
far-
didn't actually start filming it until 1974.
Yes.
but it was released in 1973
Well, of course.
with the power of VHS.
Those are true what? Oh, okay. But regardless, like, it is an incredibly impactful film, and like that could be seen if you look on the Sci-Fi Channel and look how many different shark-related movies there are. Because like it's one of those things where like Jaws has been imitated so many times, or it's inspired a lot of different movies, even movies that don't necessarily have anything to do with sharks. Because there's a movie I just watched on Shudder a little while ago called Grizzly, where it's essentially Jaws, but with a grizzly bear.
Interesting.
And it's the same setup. They've got like there's even a character has an Indianapolis speech about a bunch of people who got torn apart by a group of bears. Like there's a whole they just stop for this speech where he just talks about these people getting torn apart by bears.
Just at a campfire, sitting there.
Like straight up, like, and then they blow up the bear with a bazooka at the end, and it's
quite glorious.
It's amazing. You could probably find the clip on YouTube. Honestly, it's really funny.
Alligator, yeah.
Alligator would be another one, 100%. But it's like because they're like we do this big animal attacking people movie did really well. What else we got?
I was gonna say, didn't they technically even Piranha fall into that?
Yep, Piranha was
Piranha
also
Piranha, Orca.
Yep,
something.
Piranha, Orca, friggin' like there's so many that are just like, if not like directly ripping off Jaws, but were like heavily inspired by Jaws.
But I think, like, I honestly, like, and maybe I'm reaching here, but I feel like the only real underwater monster movie that happened before Jaws was Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes, which is worth bringing up in that regard, because like also a Universal movie, and in a lot of ways like it does share some DNA. Like obviously not like the monster is very different from like the creature is very different from the shark, but like I would say it does share some DNA in that regard.
Also, I'm dumb because there's also the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Like, so underwater movies.
Godzilla.
Does Godzilla count?
Yeah, he comes from the depths, 3 stories high, breathing fire.
It sounded like you were about to start a theme song.
That is the theme song for the Godzilla. Godzilla.
Oh, and Godzuki.
And Godzuki. Because when you were a kid and you were a fan of like both giant monsters and Scooby-Doo, that Godzilla show was amazing.
Was it though?
It was terrible, but it was a lot of fun because every week it would basically be like an episode of Scooby-Doo, except it would be a giant monster instead of a guy in a suit, and then they'd have to call Godzilla on their. They press a button and Godzilla would show up and fight the monster. So it was great.
Earliest monster movie would be The Sea Beast, 1926.
Interesting.
Also, we're dumb because Moby Dick.
Yep, and Moby Dick also 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, but like I think Moby Dick would definitely specifically
it falls under
the, like I think like,
that'd be way more of an inspiration than anything else.
Oh, if you look at Quint's relation to if you look at Quint's relationship to Jaws,
yeah,
it is very much like, yeah, the shark is gonna go down.
The shark, swallow your whole.
Yeah, I'm also curious about this.
What?
Yeah, apparently there's a movie called Tiger Shark, and it's about a killer tuna.
What?
It's a melodrama romantic film directed by Howard Hawks.
Oh,
the wife of a one-handed tuna fisherman, Mike. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that last name. Falls for the man whose life Mike had saved while at sea. The same year as Scarface, like the original one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Considered Howard Hawks' best film. Oh, did he make Scarface?
Yeah.
Repeated several times.
Like, I can't remember if he was producer or if he was director on it, but yes, he was involved in the original Scarface.
Directed and produced.
Yeah.
Same one.
As opposed to The Thing from Another World, which has a different director's name on it, but people say that he essentially directed the film.
Well, now I'm curious about this, because, yeah, apparently it's about a shark, but it's a tuna, but it's... I'm very...
Like
it's called Tiger Shark,
A what?
But
But
tiger is also a nickname for people, so it's like maybe it's about
The metaphorical
yeah.
tiger shark.
yeah, because a shark is like what is it? A guy who like a poker shark.
no, that's a pool shark.
No, it's a lawyer, clearly.
So it's just that, and that's
Yep.
what it is. It's because he's swooping her away from her tuna fisherman.
Yeah.
So he gets
He's
revenge
a
by
shark.
sending tunas.
Tunas?
The point is, so I guess shark movies and underwater movies have been around.
They weren't. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like 100% original idea, but the arrangement of elements and the way it was done.
There's a killer shark in 1950.
Hmm?
Beast from 20,000. Yeah. So underwater monsters have been around. I'm sorry, I was very.
It was
misinformed.
factually.
He was right about Godzilla.
No, Godzilla's just a monster movie. This is just.
He
monster
comes
movies.
from the ocean.
Because King Kong is not a water-based ocean movie.
Well, no. Well,
They go across the ocean.
yes,
but-
they go across the ocean and they bring him across the
yeah, but
ocean.
the Devil Bat is not one as well. Like it's
The devil bat? What?
yeah, and they have the Wolfman, Mighty Joe Young. Those ones, I
What?
specifically. This list is just monster movies, not just ocean monster movies.
Yeah.
Do better.
Who me?
Oh, there we go. It came from beneath the sea, a radioactive octopus.
Yes.
Yep. There's that one. God, there's another one that like.
I thought he was called Creature, not Gillman.
No, his name is the Gillman,
Yep.
commonly called the Creature.
Robert Gilman.
No, Buddy Gilman.
Buddy Gilman.
Yeah, Buddy Gilman.
Everyone's favorite of the New Hampshire Gilmans.
But Jaws, I think, lifted all that stuff into like as much of what Steven Spielberg does when it comes to movies. Lifted
Yeah.
that.
He takes a genre that is kind of considered to be like B or C tier entertainment, like some kind of like schlocky thing, and then raises it to the level of like an A movie drama.
Well, and I think it comes down to just the character study. It comes down to what the characters are.
Yes.
And like again, you have your lead whose greatest fear is the water.
Mhm.
Like he can't swim. Like can he swim or he can't swim? Is that
Well, specifically, he's not necessarily afraid of the water. He's afraid of drowning. That's his big thing. But it's fucking. He's afraid of the water.
you know, Chief? They say you don't go in the water.
He'll go. That's some bad hat, Harry. but yeah, no, like because he does it like at the end. He's like struggling. Like we never really see him in the water to swim. So like you could surmise that because of that he doesn't know how to swim. Because even at the end he's like fucking holding on to that thing.
Either
like,
way, he's
waiting.
afraid of the water, and like I think having your lead character and hero having to go into what he fears to fight something that he knows he might not come back from.
Yeah, well, and he's also like he is considered an outsider in his community because he came from New York.
So that's the weird thing in the book, because I
what
read
was
the book.
gonna ask. I was gonna say.
I read the book recently, and I'm pretty sure in the book, he's from the area. Well, and Amity is technically like
Yeah, like it's in the like the fictional, like the real life island of Martha's Vineyard is. I think we talked about it. It is like near New York, and then
It's a
fictionally,
resort town off Long Island.
yeah, and because they get all the tourism from places like New York and all that, and they need those summer dollars.
yeah. From what I understand, like he's not a stranger to Amity, but like as much as he was in the movie where
Yeah.
because Ellen is from Amity, in the book.
Okay, yeah, because that's never really like, because in the, actually that would make a lot of sense if they ended up moving back there if she's from there originally, but it's never really discussed in the movie. You kind of just assume they're from New York.
Well, because she keeps talking about wanting to be an islander. Like there's even that conversation with the other people on the beach where she's like, well, how do I become an islander? And it's like, well, no, you don't become one. You're either born one or you're not one.
Yeah,
And so Ellen seeking out that approval,
like
in the movie, that's not in the book, because she's technically, in the book, she is from there.
yeah,
And a theme throughout that is her trying to recapture that. She's trying to become one of them because she did leave for a while.
yeah, and of course, like when you leave a small community like that and come back, like there is always that little bit of like, and it's not necessarily like animosity, but it's essentially like, oh, you're coming back now and you expect like just to be brought back into this now. Like,
Is that how you feel going home?
no, not always. Like, like it's definitely one of those. But like, there can be people like that where it's just like, oh, you're coming back from the big city, and it's like there can always be that like disconnect because of that. So that's an interesting change as far as the story is concerned.
It would work better for the movie. Like,
Yeah.
so after
I was
reading
gonna
the
say,
book,
from what I understand, the movie did it just 10 times better across the board.
no, so reading the book is really good. The book is really enjoyable. There's just some weird parts in it.
Yeah.
Like there's an entire chapter that just turns into an erotic fiction for some reason. Like it got spicy. it got real.
Yeah, he was texting me while he was going through the book, and he was just like, "Yeah, this is happening." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, and it
Brody invites the shark over for a nice dinner, trying to talk things
wine.
through.
no, like Hooper and Ellen have a whole affair.
Oh yes,
Like
yes.
they have a whole thing, and it's like it's not like hinted at. Like it's
Straight up.
like the '70s were a sexy time. The '70s were very, very sexy.
Yep, free love and all that jazz.
And but it didn't need to be there because it's a shark book.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Well, that because Peter Benchley did the screenplay, right? So when like
Yes.
because it like I could see it basically him using it as an opportunity to essentially streamline his story and like take out things that didn't necessarily work within the context of the book.
Yes, and a lot of the plots and subplots they took out, but as a book, a lot of it worked really well.
Yeah.
Getting to understand Ellen's character a bit better was actually really nice because then she wasn't just the
Chief
housewife,
Brody's wife. Yeah.
but she's also more of a character in the movie, if that makes sense, because like I don't know, having them actually have like a decent relationship is a bit more refreshing.
Right.
Whereas like I don't know, it just comes and goes and then it's inconsequential in the end.
Yeah.
Because like spoilers I guess for it, but in the book Hooper dies.
Oh.
Like gruesomely.
Oh
Like
my.
bitten in half.
Jesus.
Yeah, like
Like he essentially gets Quint's death in the movie.
no.
Oh, okay.
Quint gets his death.
Oh.
And it's when he goes into the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how Jaws breaks through the cage?
Yes.
Yeah, Hooper doesn't escape that.
Oh my god.
No, Jaws comes in and instead of going up, he bites onto him, pulls him out, and then like breaches while holding Hooper in his mouth. And this entire time, like Brody and Hooper don't have a friendship at all because Brody's like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure this guy's banging my wife." And like at one point goes to, like, they're on the ocean, so he doesn't have his police gear. But at one point they get in so much of a fight that Brody goes to draw his pistol to shoot Hooper. But luckily he doesn't have it.
Oh my god.
He was ready to kill a man at sea in front of another one.
You don't want to find your body out here.
Quint wouldn't have cared.
No, Quint and Hooper got along better.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they got along great. And then
I think that's a good change, honestly. Like,
well, again, you care for the characters and you're rooting for them. And like Quint and Brody are probably the two most consistent characters.
yeah.
Honestly, Hooper is pretty close as well.
It's just
Like the characters are all pretty darn close, and like reading the book, I could see each of these actors playing their character still. It's just what the characters did that was different.
yeah.
Like I could 100% like the affair stuff between Hooper and Ellen. I could see that happening in the movie. Because the chemistry, like it's especially like with Richard Dreyfuss, like
Well, he's just a
charismatic
really,
guy.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
even with like Hooper or with Brody and Ellen fighting, I could see that as well because of the type of actor Roy Scheider is. Like, and again, Quint was pretty much Quint the entire time. Like there was no real diverging from that character. I think Robert Shaw added more layers to him.
Yeah. Well, and like I know because the Indianapolis speech, that was all him, right?
Yeah, that's not in the book at all.
Yeah.
The deaths are a lot more graphic in the book too. Like they describe more in detail what actually happens.
Well, and like basically like the way you're describing the book, it's like if Roger Corman made the adaptation of Jaws, is essentially that's what we would have gotten.
No, it still would have been terrible. Like So that, like, look, if we had the technology of today, we would have got the gruesome deaths.
Yeah.
Roger Corman would have tried to force the gruesome deaths, and it would not have looked well. The
Right.
reason
Oh,
Jaws...
I'm not saying it would have been great. It's just like if he was the one who was like producing that adaptation, like I could see it being closer to that.
Maybe, but again, I think like it depends on the limitations.
Right.
And that's the one reason why Jaws works is because of its limitations. Mm-hmm. I think that's honestly why a lot of older movies do work.
Yeah.
Is because they were limited. They couldn't just show everything and do anything.
Well, things had to be so specific because again, you only got so much film stock, and you gotta be mindful of like how many shots you're doing in a day.
Well,
like,
we didn't have the technology. You can't just CGI over everything and paint out.
Yeah.
Is it Jaws 3 when they started like compositing the shark in?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And that just looks
that
absolutely
was
terrible.
specifically so you had that separation for the 3D, right? So it's like essentially it's like the shark is a separate layer, so it could be
Like-
away from the background and shit. Yeah, it's
But,
not.
like,
it's not good. It's not good.
But like with Chrissy's death at the beginning, like her foot gets completely bitten off first, and she doesn't realize, so she goes to try and like,
Do not realize.
because that's your pain sensors. Like basically adrenaline kicks in. Like,
Sorry. Okay, now I follow now. I thought you meant that like she didn't realize she got bit.
No, that's like she felt something. She's like, something. What? I get stuck on a rock.
Yeah.
Because something something kind of dragged her, so she goes down to check her foot, and it's missing.
Okay.
Because
Because-
that'll happen sometimes. Like if something happens like really quickly, and then you look down. Because again, how many times have you like looked down and you're like, oh, I'm bleeding, like
Yeah.
and you didn't realize it because it happened so quickly, like
And like so, and this is where the poster makes more sense now too, because it never happened in the movie.
yeah.
But the poster, so several times in the book, that's exactly how Jaws attacked.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight from the bottom up. Like even like after that, that's what happened. Is he comes up and then clamps down on her, and then drags her down, and that's
Oh my
why that's
God.
why they can find that's why they find like basically that section of her.
Yeah. I
Same
do-
thing with the Kittner boy. He gets taken from below, but his legs get bitten off, so his legs fall off and he just gets swallowed whole basically.
Jesus.
Oh my god. But I think like the way it's done in the movie, I think is still
Oh no! Like and again, the
'Cause
movie
you-
translates
yeah.
perfectly into it.
yeah.
The movie handles it the way that it should have in a movie. Plus, it was more realistic.
100%.
Like you can see especially reading the book, you can understand that there was still a lot that we didn't know about sharks.
Yeah. But the one thing
they
that
kept referencing that sharks couldn't see. Like, oh yeah, like you couldn't see in the murky depths, so he used its senses in order to get around. And like that's partially true, but sharks can see.
100% they can see. But it's like one of the consistent things with like when people are attacked by sharks, like sharks will, because they're trying to like tear off like bits and pieces and like disorient their prey. So like that's why you get that thrashing, which is a bit closer to what you get in the movie there when people are attacked. So like that is more accurate as opposed to like these like specific attacks, you know. So
And also, I think more people die. I think there's about 3 or 4 extra deaths in the book.
That's just
Like-
pacing issues.
like in the beach scenes or like because I'm trying to think
So at
where
the same
those
time that the Kittner boy gets killed, I think like 20 minutes later, someone further up the beach gets killed. So another kid almost gets eaten, but Brody gets him out in time
yeah.
during 4th of July. Ben Gardner.
Yeah. Which, like, I always thought that, like, more people died, like, with Van Gardner's boat, because I always assumed there were more people with him, but you never see any other bodies other than him.
No, in the book he's alone.
Yeah.
He goes out by himself.
Because you always, like, when you saw the different boats going out, there's always, like, people packed on the boat, so I just assumed, like, at least, like, 4 other people got killed, but they didn't have any bodies.
Nope.
He's a loner.
Even though he's on the boat with other people.
Yes.
Um,
Still probably like top 5 most effective jump scares in any movie ever.
Still gets you to this day.
It still gets me like when the head pops out. It's like because it's like the soundtrack follows it up just shortly after the visual, so
Yeah.
it's like your brain notices it. And then it gets you with the noise, so you're just like, fuck. And every single time, I always kind of forget the timing of it. So it's just like it's always like a little sooner or later than I originally thought. So like it always catches me, but it's such an effective scare.
Oh, that's the difference too. They keep the shark tooth. They actually have the shark tooth.
But again, like with changing up the story where like Hooper's more on his side, like you kind of need to have like less proof in order to have that that 2-man team less believed by the mayor.
Well, Hooper takes up like a lot of what Hooper does in the movie was the deputy
Yeah.
in the book.
Okay, yeah. Whereas the deputy's role kind of gets like he's there for like the beginning, but as soon as like Hooper enters the scene, he kind of disappears from the story in the movie.
Yeah, in the book he's kind of there, here and there.
I'm all by myself out there.
Again, I think the movie, the book is good as a book. The movie is a really good adaptation.
Yeah.
And doesn't try to be the book.
Yeah.
And like it just like.
Which I think is a good way to do an
absolutely
adaptation.
it was really enjoyable for me. Like I enjoyed all the way through. There was just weird things in it.
You're also one of the few people I've heard who actually said that the book was enjoyable, because most people like will read it and be like, yeah.
Because I
think a lot of people go in expecting Jaws the movie, but now I really like reading movie adaptations for some reason, or books that have been adapted into movies.
It's great. I was doing that actually for a while. It's great doing that.
A lot of times people just let themselves get in this mindset that the book that they're reading should be exactly the movie that they saw.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case. Like that's not
well,
how it should be. And because again, not everything is going to translate from screen or from page to screen. Like it's just not viable.
I just want to know now, because me and you did this upstairs, but where did the whole like myth of the psychic shark come from?
Well,
Jaws the Revenge.
Well, because that is in
Jaws Revenge?
It is in Jaws the Revenge, but like I do remember people saying like that's in the
book.
Like that that Ellen has a connection to the shark?
No, it was because it was Brody. People were saying in the book that had, and then they said, "Oh yeah," and they adapted that into Jaws: The Revenge, and just like, "Oh, okay." Like
I know
or
there's
it's supposed to be like, I don't
yeah,
know.
like I 100% like because I agree with you. Like I remember people saying like that was a thing in the book. I remember the mob plot. I remember Hooper and her having an affair.
Jaws 2 or something, and it's like the shark has psychic connections.
No,
with
in
other
Jaws,
sharks?
no, in Jaws 2, the shark is Jason Voorhees.
I'm saying like, was there ever a sequel to the book that
No.
we're not aware of?
No,
Never.
Like it's not a case of like Jurassic Park where like they had Michael Crichton do a sequel so they could do a movie of the book and like all that jazz. No, Jaws only had the one book.
just typing in on Google Jaws
doesn't
Psychic
appear.
Shark, it just shows Jaws the Revenge.
That's so weird because
weird.
I guarantee you I guarantee you it's one of those urban myths that people started where it's like, oh yeah, no, that was in the book. That's why it's there. And like, no, because Ellen has no connection to the shark, period.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and Brody, again, he has no connection to the shark other than he's trying to keep the community safe. And that's kind of the nice thing about it too. It's
Well,
such a pure story.
Well, and I'm wondering if like the reason why they added that connection between her and the shark was because of like, because I can't remember what year Jaws: The Revenge came out, but like obviously that's like post
80 something.
That's post Alien, and I believe it would be post Aliens, where it's like you have like the female
1987.
87. So yeah, that would be like post Alien and Aliens. So like they tried to give that connection to the shark to like have her have that revenge quest. So I could see them making that change because of that. But
It was the 80s. Things were weird. No one cared.
yep, still my favorite fun fact of Jaws: The Revenge. People know the quote from Michael Caine. But he's just like, because he couldn't accept the Oscar he won that year because he was filming Jaws: The Revenge. And then his big thing when he was asked about the movie, he's like, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the house that it bought. And it's like, yep, fair enough. The man got paid.
You do things for money.
And to his credit, he's not the worst thing about that movie.
So everyone knows, I mean, Jaws. Jaws stands out. You say Jaws, everyone knows what Jaws is. What the hell's Jaws 2 about again?
Jaws 2
It's a different shark it's a different, bigger shark.
is it's a bigger shark.
And
they give it a slasher villain scar because it like attacks a boat and it blows up. So it's like got like burns on its
Doesn't
face.
it get electrocuted or something like that?
That's
Like,
how they kill at the end.
But I
'cause-
want to say that the idea is that it was like something was reminded of when it first showed up. I don't remember, but basically,
didn't they also give it like a name, like because the first one was called Bruce? Didn't they call this one like Brucetta or something?
I like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That I don't know. There's a lot less known about.
so
They managed to get most of the. Well, they got Brody and they got the mayor to come back, and that was about it.
all you need to know about Jaws 2 is that it's the same plot as Jaws 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a killer shark. Brody's like, "Hey guys, there's a killer shark. We need to stop this from happening."
Mm-hmm.
And no one believes him.
Yeah.
Even though they literally did this like 2 years before.
And it's like it's really funny because like in that one, the mayor is more sympathetic to Brody, but because he has to like still do the bureaucracy thing, he still ends up going against him because he wants to keep his standing. But he's actually like sympathetic. He's just like, look, man, like I know you were right the last time, and I get that, but also they're not gonna go for this shit again. So, like, I think he ends up getting like suspended or something like that. Like,
Steps down, maybe?
he either steps down or he gets fired because the deputy becomes the sheriff for a while in the story, and then like it revolves around his sons and a bunch of their friends going out in boats. That's the other reason why like I compare it to a slasher film, because a lot of the victims are like teenagers in the summer, like they're going off to like have an adventure on these boats.
Yep.
And like it's as far as like again, it's not a great movie, but especially when you compare it to like 3 and 4, it's a fun watch.
Is
Well,
that
the best
water
part is
ski
how
death?
they all tie in, though, right? Because,
Well, the water ski death, like there is a water ski death in the third one as well.
Yeah.
At the SeaWorld because they do the stunt. But there is like actually like the
Are they just both have water ski deaths?
yes because the one of the people gets killed by the water ski and then he goes to attack the boat and that's when he gets like lit on fire and the fucking boat blows up and shit. So
it's Bruceta.
Bruceta, interesting,
And then, it's the mate to Bruce.
right?
So they're family.
Yeah.
And then Vengeance is her son, which I think is the one in the third one.
Well, the third because the third one, what ends up happening is they capture a baby great white shark and they bring it to SeaWorld and it dies because you can't keep great whites in captivity. So the shark literally, the baby shark has a heart attack because it's super stressed because it's in this little fucking pool and everyone's taking pictures of it, and then the mom comes looking for it and ends up in SeaWorld and gets its. So really, that one should have been called Jaws: The Revenge.
They're just all related, though. That's the best part.
Yeah,
is
it's just family of
Jaws is
super-sized,
just-
smart sharks.
Yeah.
Is it a sequel to Deep Blue Sea? All the sharks escaped?
Well, no, they'd be no, those are mako sharks, Ethan. They're completely
They're a
different.
cross between.
Oh, no, sorry. The son is Vengeance, which is the fourth one.
Yes, because it's
And
it's
then
Ellen Brody's revenge.
his sister is the one that's in the third one.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's a whole family of giant killer great white sharks. Apparently,
It honestly is, and it's something stupid, but I love it about the Jaws franchise.
But they never went the route of like they're like finding a scientific reason as to why. They're just like, yeah, no, they're bigger and the
Bigger and meaner and
yeah. It's like, all right, cool.
now the best thing too is like how Jaws did also create like mass hysteria in
Well, I wouldn't say it was the best thing, like, but people like,
people forgot. My dad's scared of sharks because of Jaws.
oh yeah, and like it led to a lot of very unnecessary shark deaths that we're still seeing the repercussions of to this day, and like that's the one thing Peter Benchley has said is just like, yeah, if I knew what I knew now about sharks, I never would have written that book because, but again, like at the time, like they're at least like they were seen as these like crazy, like it was the closest to like a sea monster was seeing a giant, like a great white shark in the water.
And they're like tame, like they're chill for the most part, is what I understand.
As long as they're not hungry and you don't like make a
Splash
bunch,
around?
yeah, then you're probably fine. Like they're just kind of like hang out. Some sharks like they'll like because again like divers go down in the cages and all that and they'll like feed them and shit. But like and like when
You wouldn't be fine.
no
You look like a walrus right now.
well that's
They'd want to eat you.
well it's like if
I don't
you
think sharks eat walruses.
I mean, no, killer whales eat walruses and
Seals.
seals and stuff. But like they'll wear like chainmail suits and all that because like sharks will come around and will try to like fucking bite you and shit. But for the most part, like when
Bears.
Occasionally attack them. Polar bears and killer whales are the only ones that attack walruses. Walruses are essentially apex predators.
Yes,
Essentially.
and they just chill out. But nobody wants to attack a walrus.
That's because they're violent.
Yes,
They will kill you.
mm-hmm.
They got tusks.
They got they got their big buck teeth. They'll bite you.
Tush. Tush.
That's a weird movie too.
I haven't seen that one either.
Do you use your mustache to find food as well?
All the time. I find food in my mustache. That's
Where's my dinner? I can't see it.
better get out my finding stash.
Can you just do that one day? Can you just rub your face in food?
Oh, I can't. I wonder what the walruses make like a like I don't know
They
like
roar.
I don't know. Comment down below which one of those do a time code. Which one was more accurate? But who's your favorite character in Jaws? Why is it the walrus?
Cuckoo, ka-choo.
Cuckoo. Yeah, remember that scene where Brody's getting his team together and he goes to the walrus and the carpenter? And then they talk about so many things.
Can you actually have a favorite character, though, from Jaws?
Yeah, Hooper.
Hoopa! Honestly, like...
I also just gotta love Richard Dreyfuss and like...
Like, I think, like, if you were to objectively... Because it's a film full of great performances, but objectively, if you were to pick one, like Robert Shaw as Quint is just fucking great. Like, he is so good in that movie, and...
So good that you based your performance in Damn Rights off.
Yes, I did. I did a terrible Robert Shaw impression.
I gave you that direction as a joke, and we couldn't
And
shake it for
and
the
then
rest.
I just, like, I kept sounding like him. To the point where in post, we had to, like, redub me. So I sounded less like Robert Shaw. But, like, just the way he speaks and, like, how very, like... how deliberate everything that he delivers is. Like it's already a super quotable movie, but like everything he says is so engaging.
Yes, you son of a bitch.
Like head, tail, the whole damn thing. Like all that kind
I'll find them for 3. I'll catch them and kill them for 10.
You all gotta make up your minds. I wouldn't want to be living on welfare all winter.
Oh, also in the book, they come in every night.
No, they don't stay on the water.
Nope.
Yeah,
that's smart.
At the end, yeah, but that would be the smart thing to do. But I could also see like in Quint's character, like the way they set him up where he's like, "Yeah, I know we're staying." Well, even like before the first night, after they have their first like big encounter, Brody's like, "You were going in, right?" It's like, "No, we got barrels on him. We gotta follow him." I always enjoy like how they fade away as Brody's like trying to convince him to go back, like just like the movie's like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. I was
Come on,
enjoying.
guys, we gotta get inside.
Oh yeah, I got a bigger bullet.
So, that's my biggest issue with Brody, I find, in that whole movie, is he's just almost a pushover to everybody. Like, he's the hero at the end, but like
That's
it's
his character. It's the same thing in the book. Like the entire time he's like, we should close the beaches, and they're like, nope, you can't close the beaches, and he's like, okay,
I think we really should close the beaches. Nope, ain't happening.
okay.
And then he ends up like anytime he gets like, it's always like when things get like super bad, and that's when he starts pushing like, you're gonna sign this and you're gonna give that guy what he wants.
Yeah.
Martin, my kids were on that beach too. Like the mayor's also really good. Like
He is. Like, he's a dick, but he's good. He's enjoyable.
like he's a politician. Like, you know, like, yeah, but like I couldn't see a politician in real life, you know, seeing imminent danger for a bunch of people, and you know, keeping a place open even though it would potentially cause a lot of death and bad things to the population. I couldn't see a politician doing that in reality.
Some
But
of
also,
you
as a
may
politician,
die.
though, he is correct in the sense that, like, that's not how sharks behave. Like, you're crazy.
we need summer dollars, Martin.
Like, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong either.
Well,
because
actually-
the shark, like, he knew sharks, and he knew that was not their behavior.
I know I keep saying in the book because it's in the book. Actually, Hooper even says, "Yeah, like the shark shouldn't come back. Like this is a freak accident."
Mm-hmm.
And Hooper was wrong.
Yeah. Well, in the movie, they changed that where it's like he has a theory about territoriality. And it's like, yeah, this shark is demonstrating like he's picked this spot and he's going to stay around here because he's got a solid food
Until
source.
the food's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're either going to kill this animal or you're going to cut off his food supply. And then yeah, like they don't listen and people die and Chief Brody gets slapped.
Yep.
And it's just really solid character drama between everybody. And there's all these like little moments in the movie too where like it slows down, like the scene like after that scene where they catch the tiger shark.
Yep.
And then he's back home and he's just sitting there and his son like just starts imitating him and all that, and then they have that little moment where he's just like, give us a kiss. Why? Because I need it. Like a little moment between a father and son where he's just like had just a fucking horrible day and all that, and he feels responsible for everything, even though like he tried to do everything he could, you know. So like it's just really good stuff. Like it's like Jaws is a really good movie or something.
It's
It's a
okay.
very good movie.
Yep.
I mean, so like one thing I don't know if you guys did it, but I did it myself. Because Netflix recently got all of them, right? Like a couple months ago.
I think so, yeah.
Definitely a couple months ago. Probably before I started working on high school. But in my little downtime, I literally did that. I actually like watched Jaws and then Jaws 2, then Jaws 3. I don't think I made it to Jaws 4.
No,
That's usually the resounding feeling.
yeah. You're just like, well, it's not gonna get better than Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah, but it was just something
Dennis
like
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
it was, even though it's like, again, where the first one is the best, it's like even just still them making the 2 and the 3, it's like still enjoyable. It's fun popcorn flicks.
Oh yeah, like
after
I could pop in 3 and still have a good time watching it, but I acknowledge it's not a great movie.
Yeah, no,
Like-
no, it's a popcorn flick, definitely.
Like, because I never bought the Blu-ray because I was hoping they were gonna come out with because the one they released didn't have the 3D at all.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for them to release a version that had the 3D, and they never did. So I was just like, oh, well, if I'm gonna watch Jaws 3D, I want to watch it in 3D. It's like, it's why we still have like the DVD of Friday the 13th Part 3 is because the new Blu-ray, unless you have a 3D television, you can't watch it in 3D. So you gotta have the one with the friggin' glasses and shit.
You could always use your puppet.
Use the puppet?
Yeah, your oven mitt there.
Oh, of course.
You could watch the 3D, and every time it comes, just
It's Jaws!
This is my oven mitt. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All the way from Tokyo Universal.
Yeah.
Thanks, sister. You're not watching this, but thanks.
Oh, is that who got it for you?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
What's great about it is the the legs.
Based
So
off
good.
the book. That's the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure he was wearing a yellow bathing suit,
If I remember correctly, yes.
or just remembering the yellow thing.
Oh yeah, it was a yellow raft and then red shorts, and then everything was red.
Now, also, have you guys ever played the board game there?
It's,
yeah.
it's fun. It's got, like, because it's got 2 phases. It's like the island phase,
Yeah.
and then depending on how well the shark does in the island phase determines how strong he is in the second phase.
Oh.
Yeah, like it, and like it's 4 players, but
One
like you
person plays as a shark, and then the rest play as
can, the like
3.
Hooper, yeah. But like one person can play as all the humans, and you can do a 2-player, and like it's more complicated for sure, but like it's doable. Yeah, it's very very well done, well executed board game. There's a lot of those nowadays though, where they've managed to adapt the movies into pretty solid board games. I still need to play The Thing. The Thing is definitely.
I just want to start doing playthroughs. Like
yeah.
Just playing board games.
yeah, for the audience.
Oh, wow.
A board games based off movies.
We could have done that. We could have set it up. You could have been talking about Jaws and playing. The audience would have been the shark.
I'd like to get more familiar with the board games
Yeah.
before we play them in front
Yeah,
of people.
so it's not like 30 minutes of us being like, oh, okay, what's the rules?
Yeah.
That's
Horrified
fair.
at this point, we could easily.
Horrified we could easily do. Maybe do that for Halloween. we do a horrified playthrough. Comment below if you
If you would like to watch us play board games.
yeah. See what you think.
We understand if the answer is no. But if the answer is yes.
Speaking of like monster movies though, and like that stuff, and board games, one actually I recently played was Unfathomable. I think it is. And it's
I don't think I could understand that game.
it took a while. Like it took some time.
I couldn't fathom the game.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. But it's like, do you prefer like the first half of the movie or the second half?
I think
Second
he was
half.
still. Weren't you still talking about?
Well, this one because
Yeah.
it's based off of Cthulhu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got Eldritch Horror upstairs. That's also like Cthulhu Mythos.
Yeah, we
stuff.
still gotta look into that one.
Yeah, that one also is fairly complicated from what.
But
I gathered.
it was interesting, and like it's based off of what I can tell, the H.P. Lovecraft like tale and all that.
I can see that.
And it also made me realize that there's really no Cthulhu movie out there.
Oh, there's some. They're not that great.
But that's what I mean.
Like that's the thing. Like you
There's no blockbuster. There's no like. There's again. You
Nope.
say Jaws to someone, and it's like, yeah. It's like what
you yell
can
Cthulhu and no one cares.
Everyone's like, huh? What?
Ah, what?
Even even the
You
one
say
they made
Jaws.
recently, with what's her face, Kristen Stewart.
yeah,
Interesting
like
concept, but
Yep.
even
No,
that wasn't
it's not
like
okay.
I
it wasn't done well. Like
I like it. Like I think
It was
it's a good
so
movie.
tacked on.
But actually, yeah, 100%. The Cthulhu stuff was an afterthought.
Oh, yeah.
because that movie was on the shelf. Like it was filmed like years ago, and then eventually they're like, well, you know, we don't have a lot to release. What we got this movie. Hey, do you want to do anything to it before we release it? And the director's like, you know what? There's some things I could change up, and then he decided to make the final creature more of a Cthulhu thing. Couldn't say it was Cthulhu, but like pretty much it is.
it is, and
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think that one could have just been fine as like an underwater weird horror that like it was
Yeah.
like the first.
Like, and honestly, like for that, I enjoy it because like I've got a number of underwater horror films. Like we could do a whole podcast on just that subgenre. Honestly,
Is it 47 meters down or something? With is the
Oh,
blind
those
sharks?
sharks.
oh, I'm talking
Yeah, the blind sharks.
yes,
We're talking like Leviathan.
Leviathan, Deep Star 6,
The Abyss.
The Abyss, all came out in the same year.
Never seen any of them. The only one I've heard of was the Abyss.
Yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah.
And then there's one more that also came out that year that I'm blanking on right now, but yeah, like they were like, oh, what is it? Like Ghosts of the Deep or something? Oh, Aliens of the Deep. I think is what it was called. But yeah, like they all came out in the summer of '89, and like just for whatever reason, there was just a bunch of ocean horror movies.
Actually, no. It'd be because Revenge failed.
Yeah, well, and also like that was post Alien and Aliens and The Thing and a bunch of these movies because a lot of those movies riff off of that
Yeah.
type of film. So, because like again, like underwater, like doing like underwater horror has always been like a subgenre I really enjoy to one degree or another, and like I would say that definitely is partially because of Jaws. But no, like the because for me the first and second half, like as we talked about with the board game there, like obviously like it still feels like one flows into the other, but they do feel like very different phases of the movie at that point.
Yes.
Because like you got the island stuff, and then you have the stuff on the boat where it becomes this more like claustrophobic. Even though it's like this big open ocean, like you feel claustrophobic on that
Oceans,
boat.
yeah, and that's why when you said that, like the second part is personally my favorite.
Yeah.
Like that idea of you're trying to take out this like killer creature, but at the same time you're trapped.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there a line like that in the movie, or am I thinking another movie where it's like literally it's like you're not here, or
You're thinking of Rorschach in Watchmen. It's like, I'm not locked in here.
Yeah.
You're locked in here with me.
it's essentially that with Jaws. But yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I like the first half.
Yeah.
it's got the character stuff. It's got the build up, and yeah, no.
Well, and the thing is, like, the second half, unless you had that first half, the second half wouldn't be as effective for sure. But like, there's so much, like, again, the second half, you have the Indianapolis speech, you have like all those like big moments of tension between the characters.
Beating.
Come down here to show them some of this shit.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Like, so good. Like, Brody, like, going for the radio and trying to do, like, call the Coast Guard. Then Quint just comes in and just fucking... Well, that's just great! You're certifiable, Quint! You know that! Oh, yes, we're having a good time here. Brody says hello, alright, bye.
Brody is doing just fine, yeah.
Well, and, like, another thing that's worth, like, because this is something that we noticed last time we watched it on the 4K. When you get to the scene where they're comparing scars, like, right before the
speech, yeah.
before the speech, there's a moment where, after both Quint and, Hooper talking about their different, like, shark bites and all that, which is just a great moment, too, because it's, like, they finally find a bit of common ground between the two of them after, like, being at each other the whole time. There's this moment where it cuts to Roy Scheider, where he lifts up his shirt, and you can see what looks like a bullet hole.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you brought up, like, is, like, oh, clearly got shot.
It's the way that he reacts to it, because they're talking about, like, oh, this injury, and they're talking about their injuries on the sea.
Yeah.
And he lifts it up like he's going to show and talk about it, and he looks at it, and then he just sheepishly puts it down, and like feels like, no, that's not worth talking about or telling.
Yeah. Like,
and then I think from there we go immediately into the Indianapolis speech.
Yeah, and like, it's kind of the slow moment that's forgotten, but it's like, it almost comes across like they're like something related to that scar might be the reason why Brody and his family aren't in New York anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and like, it's something he doesn't want to talk about. And it's just this great little, again, there's always those little moments of acting that just really are just fantastic.
Well, and Mike, like, I feel like that moment had to have been in the script.
Yeah.
Because unless Roy Scheider was actually shot and had a bullet scar.
Yeah, which
like that would have been a makeup thing. That
which again, like it was the 70s, so who knows?
but like the thing is, that shot's been in there. We've always seen that shot of him lifting up and looking down.
But with the magic of 4K,
but we never noticed what he was looking at. Yeah, like it just never clicked in.
And especially when you watch on like old pan and scan VHS, where you don't always see the full frame.
I know I mentioned it to you, and I'll mention it to you though. The fun thing about TikTok these days is pan and scan has kind of made a comeback. Okay. Because there'll be clips of movies on TikTok, and since it's vertical like your phone, they'll actually, like, people will show these clips, and like I was watching a clip of John Wick, and it's like the one where it's the first movie, and it's when the bad guy is like telling his son who John Wick is. Yep. And John like smashes open that thing with all of his like coins and stuff in it, and then it did like a pan and scan across I'm like, there's no camera movement there, and I think out loud I was like, oh, hello, pan and scan. And I think it's hilarious. I think
I've told you before that like John Carpenter hates pan and scan with a burning passion.
I think everyone hates pan and scan with a burning passion.
But like he like stopped an interview, like he straight like. I can't find it anywhere, but like he stopped an interview to be like, why did you show that clip in pan and scan? You can't see anything of the important information. I fucking hate that shit. Like, it was really
because TVs used to be little boxes.
Yep, that's a long time ago. There was a period of time where you could use your TV as a shelf.
I mean, still.
I mean, you can.
I low key kind of miss TVs being thicker.
Right. Like it kind of like it would almost be nice if you could buy like a case, like just like
a cell phone case for your TV.
Yeah, and just like so you could have stuff on top and like
it's called a shelf. Yeah, you can literally hang a shelf over top of your TV.
Well, I wouldn't want to hang like a shelf. Like I want to put it like in a protective thing so I know it's not going to fall down. Right.
You could buy a wall unit for your TV.
Yeah.
Seeing like that stuff always like wigs me out. Like I don't trust it. I know you'd have to like,
See, now I just want to get a shelf and put things over top of the TVs.
because you'd have to like find, you have to find a stud, of course, to like drill into and all that. In theory, it's secure, but it's always like, oh, but what if something happens and the TV just comes off the wall and smashes?
I don't
The
know.
only stud you need is right
No,
here.
no, I said a wall unit. You're not hanging your TV. A wall unit is just a shelf that surrounds your TV.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah. Fair enough.
but like we could just get like just a plain shelf from IKEA and just right over top, and we could
Like
put things on top of it.
Like at the end of the day, I appreciate that TVs don't weigh like 100 pounds anymore. Because like my friends had like one of those like where it was like the whole unit, like
Yeah,
there
like
was,
the
there
wood,
was an undercarriage and
yeah,
everything.
like the
to
wood things with like
Yeah, and like that's the kind of TV where it's just like it comes with the house. Like it's not moving out or
My
anything.
TV in college in my room was old 90s like tube TV.
Yep, like
Where's the one here? Is it in
It's
the
in the storage room, yeah.
I have one from when I grew up, like from like literally not as long as I can remember, but because we had the first TV I remember us having is that little like the little black and white box TV that's like that big with the
Yep.
antenna. I think like a 6-inch screen.
Yep. I think my first ever TV proper, I got it for free from a family friend, and it was like permanently tinted purple. But that's like the first, like I played like on the PS3 on that thing, and like a bunch of games and movies. Like that was just what I watched stuff on. And then eventually I upgraded to my first HD television. I was like, oh my god, everything is a proper color now. This is amazing. Like, I didn't even care about the resolution or anything, or the fact that I could actually read text and all that. I was just like, oh my god, it's not purple anymore.
You know, I that's a bad thing. That's really bad that I was so attached to the TV that I had like a vivid memory of each one. Because like, we went from that one to like a 10-inch one. Then we got the bigger 27-inch thing that went downstairs. And then eventually we got another, I think like a 16-inch to go upstairs, and then eventually we got a bigger TV. And I think by the time we moved, that's when we got flat screen TVs.
The first TV I remember my family having is we had two of them. One would sit on the bottom, and the other TV sat on top of the one on the bottom. And the bottom one didn't have picture that worked, but the sound worked. And the top one didn't have sound, but the picture worked.
So you just would turn them both on,
We'd put the dials both to the channel, and then we'd put them both on.
and you wouldn't have to worry about syncing it because the broadcast would be the same.
Yeah, it was rabbit ears and stuff like that, and that's what we did.
Friggin'
And then
rabbit ears.
our next TV was just one of those, again, dial style, that worked properly. And then I think after that was the one that I had at college, which was like a 90s tube TV Sanyo.
We never had dial style. We always had buttons.
No, we had dial style, like where you only have like 10 channels.
Ours was...
I think my grandparents had that.
Ours was super weird, because like we... Because you guys wouldn't have ever seen it, but I think I've shown you pictures of it. But we used to have, in the middle of the yard, there was this giant black satellite dish-looking thing. And whenever you wanted to change the channel, like on the TV, there'd be like this menu, and you would press it. And if it was like here to here, it would take like 5 minutes, and the satellite would slowly turn, and it would make, like, it would kind of make noise. So like if I wanted to get up on Saturday morning to watch cartoons early in the morning before mom and dad woke up,
like you had to preset.
I had to I had to preset the TV so it'd be on the right channel, so it wouldn't make noise when it was changing. Because it also had like inside the TV itself, it would have this like, it would go like chunk, chunk, and then it would be like on the proper channel. It was so weird.
I just had cable. That was me growing up.
Yeah, we
And
jumped.
it was Farmer Vision or cable, so it was either 4 channels or like 20 something.
Yeah,
Literally,
we had about.
we had just rabbit ears, farmers like that for the longest time, until my dad actually did get a Bell or something, I don't know, satellite dish.
Yeah.
And then he learned how to hack the channels, and then we had free channels, and
They got free cable. You just had to click this button here and here, and
I still don't understand how he did it, but it's like he would literally buy like a computer chip, and he would sit there on the computer, and he would like solder stuff and do all that, and then he would take that chip and he'd like insert it into the box, and then it was like, all right, there we go.
Because in theory, that's all they kind of are. Is like, just it has to be the right thing to pass through the signal to enable these
And
channels.
he just figured it out, and he would just do it. Yeah.
So I'm so out of touch with stuff because I was a poor college kid. I couldn't afford anything. Is satellite TV still a thing?
I'd have to assume for rural areas it is. Like,
So
I
like
think it is, but also at the same time, I think cable's just gotten that much better.
Yeah. Like, again, well,
And
nowadays...
is it essentially the same now? Because I remember that was the big war when we were growing
the
up.
same. Yeah, I
Well,
would say
and
it's the same. Because
nowadays...
the big thing about satellite was because you used to be able to get cable was your local channels.
Yeah.
But nowadays,
Or just the Canadian ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's
but now
international.
you get everything, and you can get your Canadian ones across the board. Plus, like HBO, like my cable has HBO to it, so I can watch stuff in the States. So
Whereas satellite, you'd have
and
satellite,
nowadays
you'd have HBO, and then you'd have the movie channels, and that was a big one. Like to have movie night or whatever. Like those movie
I remember
channels, those were huge.
during Halloween every single year, my parents would get. I think it was really called like the Scream Channel or something like that, where just horror movies 24/7, which is just fantastic. That's how I ended up watching American Werewolf in London slowly but surely over like 3 years. Same with Halloween.
I just went out and bought DVDs when I shouldn't have been able to buy those DVDs.
But yeah, no, like that was.
Do you guys ever wish that you could just pop back into a memory and experience exactly how it was? Like everything, not just remembering it, but like as things are right now, you could just you could just pinpoint a memory and be like, "Hey," and snap yourself into that memory for like however long, and then snap yourself out. I was thinking about that. I was watching
Isn't that friggin' that Hugh Jackman movie that came out a little bit ago?
Maybe.
Wasn't that the premise of that?
I have no idea, but I don't know. This isn't a movie premise thing. This is just
No, I know.
I was looking at again TikTok, and they had YTV 2005 commercials.
Oh man, yeah.
And I was sitting there going man, this is fun. But what I wouldn't give to just be able to snap back to me as a kid watching TV and just experience those emotions.
So I'm watching YTV Jackie Chan Adventures and
yeah.
There's a part of me that I wish that was a thing that I could do. Maybe one day.
Maybe someday.
We'll be able to plug into memories.
You ever heard of recall?
When we're able to do recall.
Yeah, recall. My friend went there, got himself lobotomized. No shit. Don't go there, Quaid. It'll mess with your head.
Why do I keep thinking Danny DeVito's in that movie?
Scene.
Because it's the guy.
The guy that looks like Danny DeVito.
Yes.
I gotta go do that with you now.
Are you crazy?
He was showing me Arnold watching his own, was it?
The commentary?
Yeah, the comment. I showed him clips of the commentary for Total Recall. He's a you see, I pick up the guy and he gets shot.
But it's actually not. It's me.
You think it's a lady, but it's actually me in the costume there.
Oh, you think this is the real Quaid?
It is. I love Total Recall.
Such a good movie.
It's so good. Yeah, and then what part of Jaws were we at? What was we were talking about the end of the movie there, but
I don't know. I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah, again, Branch, probably one of the best endings ever.
It depends on what you mean by an ending, because it has that traditional old school Hollywood feel of the monster's dead, the end.
And
Yep.
They're swimming to shore. It's do they make it back?
But it's
I guess they did.
Well, actually, no. If you watch the credits long enough, you could see them come up on the shore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's a little raft that comes up on the shore in the credits.
I will put money down that you never see that.
I will bet you $20 that this is a thing. That is 100% a thing.
I'm really nervous
I watched
about
it on
losing
VHS
money right now. No, I think you're putting that in your brain.
No, I'm serious.
I think you
No.
are. I think you are.
It is a thing. I swear to God.
it just needed to end with Brody sitting down for some nice sashimi.
Sashimi? Oh, yes, of course.
I think you are.
Honey, I got shark steak. Good news. The shark is dead. Also good news. We've got food for the winter.
We got food for a year.
Yep.
If it freezes well enough.
Yep. But no, it's just the shark roaring as it falls into the water. Even though sharks don't have lungs.
It was a reference to Duel.
Yeah, that looks like them kicking to shore. Well, it's not really moving though. Oh,
no, they don't make it to shore.
Oh, hold on, we're almost there.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, oh they're standing now.
There they are. Yeah.
I told you. Give me my $20.
I never agreed to $20.
You bitch.
I said I'm nervous about making money.
It's
Sorry that I was too busy reading the credits.
So, like, I just actually, looking at this here, I want to take appreciation for this, because this is something you want to see in film. Like, they sat there and filmed this.
We talked about that the other day.
We finished
watching?
we finished Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
And, like, it just ends with, like, was it Amityville Horror? No, it wasn't Amityville Horror.
No, it was.
No, it was Body Parts.
Oh, yeah, Body Parts. We're like, they're, they're just like, it's really just like the
couple is just sitting in the park watching kids play, and they just sit there for like, it's like a good 30 seconds as the credits start rolling over top of them.
Yeah, like they just held that shot while the credits started, and then eventually it fade out. But like, nowadays they wouldn't do that. Just like, you want to waste how much film on this one?
In my
opinion,
opinion,
that's the thing. Could you imagine doing our job and then it's like, so like we're just gonna let them roll up to shore. It'll be like 2 minutes. Like, don't worry about it. But like, you'd be bored out of your fucking mind. Like, you'd just be sitting there like, oh my god.
Well, in my opinion,
sound's got nothing to do. So.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that too is because like they would do credits at the beginning, and then the credits at the end would be so short that you would just be able to do that, right? You wouldn't need 8 minutes for credits. In my opinion, as a filmmaker, I think you should always, when you are writing, when you are planning out your film, always have the credits in mind. What do you want your credits to be? Do you want it just to be a blank screen with stuff, or do you have something cool you want to do?
I mean, think about we did do that on Damned Rights, because it ends with just like the shot of the house, and like eventually it fades out, but like we have them walking to the house as the credits start rolling.
No, the credits don't start rolling, I don't think.
No, they do. Like, I'm pretty sure they do. You would assume I'd remember this.
You edited it.
You'd assume we've also watched our movie several times. You'd think we'd remember that.
Yes.
Because I know the end pops over top of it.
Yes.
And I don't know if the credits start rolling.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, it is.
Like, I think we fade to black and then the credits start.
And the credits start, yeah.
Because then the title pops up. But again, you should have that in mind, and we did. Same thing with the opening credits. Like, I knew there was going to be an opening credit sequence.
Well, and that's something that doesn't really exist anymore either, is like opening credit sequences. Oftentimes, just like you get like a title, and then like it's just like credits will be playing just as part of the movie is going. Because like one of my favorites is because it's very deliberate, is Prince of Darkness, where it's just like you get kind of an introduction to all the characters, and then it'll just like cut to like different credits, and then goes back in, cuts to credits.
I think when it comes to John Carpenter movies in general, his opening style is the most efficient. And I think more movies should mirror that.
Yeah.
Because you do get to set up things with characters and set up who characters are without big exposition scenes.
Yeah.
And you also get to, again, give credit to those who are watching or who made the movie. And so it's like,
it's this kind of like this slow introduction to the movie, and like.
And I think the more unique ways you can do that, like I think I had one in mind for a script that I was writing where the opening was going across a poster board, like a bulletin board.
Okay, yeah.
And on the bulletin board, it's just a bunch of credits, and then you get to the end where the person pulls the tab of information that they need, and that's the end of the credits.
Yeah.
So it's putting the thought into that, right? And that's part of the storytelling experience. Like as narrative storytellers, we need to have that stuff in mind, because why not utilize something like that to be a part of your story?
Yeah.
It also gets audience engaged, and they'll actually read who did what. They'll actually be a part of that.
The intro of Alien is a prime example. Like, because it's like, it doesn't really necessarily tell you anything about the story, but it sets the tone for what the story is going to be. Because it's just that slow pan of like space with the music, and the credits are coming up, and then the title slowly forms and all that.
And that's where like I'm kind of not a huge fan of like modern end credits now. Where it's just a bunch of flashy, like, oh yeah, look at flashing lights with the credits, so you actually read the names, and it's like, that doesn't really do much for me.
Yeah.
But if you have, like...
the end credits of Doom, where it's like it turns into a first-person shooter sequence again. He's just shooting the names of the different people.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But then you look at something like the end of the Spider-Man movies, like, or the end of even the Avengers, where it's like swooping around their statues. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Like,
it's very flashy.
It is very flashy. And I think while that works, it's why not use that in a way that would tell a story? So So I think both work. It's my preference, right?
Yeah.
I think, and again, I think that's where if you look at any of my scripts, there's always a section that marks this is where the credits happen.
Yeah.
Like, and I love cold opens that lead into credits. Like, I really, really love cold opens. Because I think, again, it sets up the world.
Yeah. 100%.
Fair enough, yeah.
I'm beginning to realize I have a style.
It's good. That's awesome, man.
Good thing I have a style in writing, because I don't have it anywhere else.
Hey.
He's got a nice hat on.
I do just fine.
Terrible mustache, but
It's a very shallow hat, actually.
it's because he has a very shallow head.
You do have a shallow head.
Put the hat back on.
Yeah, I probably should. My hair is probably terrible.
Your tear is probably terrible.
Yes. Yes.
Lateral move.
Does anyone have a question of the day? Because I have an idea for one.
If you could do anything with Jesse Prosser's hair, what would it be?
Comment below.
Scalp him.
Scalp him.
Shark fin.
Just, yeah, we'll sew a shark fin to your head.
I mean, it has to be. It can't
Then
be a real
it'd be
shark fin.
deepest blue. My head is like a shark's fin. Just playing LL Cool J all the time. Couldn't wear hats anymore. But yeah, it's a small price to pay.
No, you can wear a hat. You just got to cut a slit in the top.
No, it's an Abraham Lincoln hat. It's just,
Yeah.
I take it off.
No, I want us to have a movie where, like, a guy has a shark fin on his head, but he, like, takes off a top hat, and that's all it is. And it's literally just like he tips his hat off for somebody and puts it back on, and we never see the shark fin again.
Finn. Yeah, it's an art film, isn't it?
Called Finn.
Called Finn.
Milady. Finn.
Finn.
It's just 30 seconds long, not
Yep.
even.
Copyright.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I got no questions, so.
Yeah, for me, it's like aside from a shark, because we've discussed Jaws, and like the answer would clearly be Jaws if we were talking about it. It's like, what is your favorite animal attack film? Because I would say an animal attack film is better than, like, different from like a monster movie, I would say. So it's like a movie where like the antagonist is an animal that attacks people. That is not Jaws. See, it's hard when you can't pick Jaws.
Well, the thing is, too, though, is you, like, put limitations on it, because you said, and, like, it's, you limit it. Like, because there's...
Because I was going to be like, well, American
there's,
Werewolf in London, clearly, but, like, that's technically a monster movie.
Yeah.
Well,
and
okay,
that's the
like,
thing,
I guess,
is
like, yeah.
Even The Revenant isn't about an antagonist bear, but it has a bear that attacks someone.
Which is
But
fair.
what you said,
But it's
like,
the
the
inciting
only
incident.
other thing my brain went to is like, oh, I guess Cujo, because it's like there's nothing.
I also thought of Cujo. Yeah, I'll open it up. Like, favorite just, like, monster movie.
Like, I agree with, like, the animal aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, like, in a sense, like, yeah, werewolves could be considered because technically they are a hybrid in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, like...
You're thinking more like normal animals as opposed to, like...
Yeah.
Actually, though, Ethan found it for me, which would actually be Anaconda. I love that movie.
Anaconda, yeah. Yeah,
love
that's a
that
fun
movie.
one.
That was like... I don't know. There's something about me just watching that movie over and over again. I just loved watching people get eaten by the snake.
Yeah. Well, and I would also say, like, giant animal also falls under that category, too. Like,
For Ethan, that's King Kong.
yeah. Well, though King Kong's his own. Well, I guess in the Peter Jackson one, he's a giant gorilla, but
Because King
Even in
Kong
the
is up
original,
there.
He's a giant gorilla. And he's like, even though he's not
gorilla.
bad, he's still like...
He's an animal, yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, Jurassic Park, if you want to consider those real, they were real animals once.
Those goats were...
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd have to give it to the birds.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's a fair one.
No, that is more than fair. Because now I'm, like, blanking on... Because now, like, I'm thinking of ones that, like, because there's, like, Orca, which is, like...
Orca was fun.
Yeah, Orca was, like, surprisingly good, because it was, like... It was John Wick, but with an orca whale.
Never seen Orca. Although,
Did you ever...
another favorite of mine, because it was just cheesy as all hell, was Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh, yeah, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Never saw that one yet.
See, that one's fun.
It's fun. Like, it's cheesy and bad, but it's also, like, it's a little creepy. It's got moments that creep you out.
Frickin' Deep Blue Sea where the shark turns its head. I would have thought for you would be like Lake Placid.
I was actually thinking about that. Like, Lake Placid is just a damn good time.
Did you ever watch Crawl?
No, I own it. I have yet to watch it. The Shallows is also quite good. Like, that's another shark movie, but, like, that one's really cool because, again, it's like, it's like, again, one location. You got Blake Lively and a seagull are your only characters in the movie, and there's this shark that's just sticking around because there's this, like, dead whale carcass, like, nearby, so, like, the shark's not gonna fucking leave, and she's bleeding, so the second she goes in the water, so, like, very tense, very well done, like, very well done little movie.
You think I'd have more of these because, like...
I can't even say Tremors, but, like, it's...
That's
like,
just
one
a
of my...
giant worm, right?
Well, of course.
One of my biggest fears is being eaten alive. Like, it's terrifying when you think about it.
Oh. You're not wrong. Oh, yeah, this is, Snakes on a Plane.
Never seen that one.
This is... But you've seen the line. Because how can you not? Actually, this is one that, like... I don't know if you have seen it, or any of you have seen it, but, there's a movie called Ghosts in the Darkness. It stars Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. And it's, I can't remember when it takes place, but basically there's this lion that's just been, like, killing people at this camp, and they hire these two big game hunters to kill it. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's one of those, like, it's a movie where it's, like, this would be one of the best, like, Predator movies if you just swap out the lion with a Predator.
Interesting.
But, like, it's a very well done, like, kind of animal attack movie. And it's just, like, again, Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas acting the shit out of it. I think it's getting a 4K soon, actually. I'm going to have to look out for that.
It's based off true events.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's a real thing that happened, dude. I mean, by that definition, I could also say Brotherhood of the Wolf. It's a real thing. The animal just killed, like, 100 people in the French countryside. And then they caught it.
Or was it a man who pretended to be an animal?
Whoa.
A manimal.
A manimal?
Hannibal Lecter, yeah.
Hannibal Lecter. The best.
Can I say Silence of the Lambs? He's just a beast.
Sure.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yeah. Because man is the ultimate animal.
Exactly. But the
that was like the serial, like your favorite monster episode. Like, who's your favorite monster? And you said man, and everyone's like, oh, boo. It's true,
the
though.
best answer. It's the most terrifying. I'm sorry, guys. It's true.
Not wrong.
And he's not wrong. Again, you're just talking about how Jaws killed all these innocent sharks because man is paranoid.
It's true. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yep. So really,
just
like,
know what's up.
Click the link below to donate to Shark Relief.
I mean, I could.
Yeah, if you want to find a link, we can add it. I don't care.
Yeah, I could find one. I'll put it in the.
The 10 people who watch this can donate some money. You're gonna get $10 whole, Sharks.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
So I think that about wraps it up, actually.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us for this episode, Trent.
My favorite part is learning actually that he had the form of Batman.
It's true.
There's the only statue that's the right size, so that the.
That's why I'm never gonna use this for cooking. Like, this is.
Well, why would you? Like,
I don't want to risk ruining it.
Like, it's such a unique, like.
I say we let him go.
This is Jaws. Yeah, now I want the Muppets Jaws movie. There's a shark in the boat. No. Yeah,
Kessler.
they're all Muppets, and the only one that's a person is
Is
Robert
Robert
Shaw. That'd be amazing. Because you'd have Kermit would obviously be Brody, and then
Fozzie would be Hooper.
Yes, 100%. It's just
The most terrible shark expert ever.
Yep, and then Rob.
This is a shark. That's a table. Oh, the shark's on it? No, that's the victim. I really should have studied biology.
Now I'm just sad this isn't.
You can make it real though.
That'd be so good. Yeah, we're gonna pitch this to.
To Disney?
Yes.
Disney Universal hybrid.
Yes.
Get some original.
Get Universal on the line. We're making this happen. Although, like, we get Tom Hardy to play Quint though. Obviously. Yeah, no, that was a really fun discussion. Thank you for joining us, Trent.
I wasn't even supposed to be here.
It's true.
That's why we were going to do it earlier in the day.
Yep.
We're like, yeah, he'll be back in the evening.
And then he just pops through the door, doesn't even knock.
Hey, it was wide open.
It's true. It's very hot out here.
Is it though?
Not today.
Not today, no. You picked like the cause isn't it gonna rain? I'm pretty sure it's gonna rain today.
Well, it's raining all last night. That was fun camping in there.
Making it
I can
rain.
imagine. All right.
But no, thanks for having me.
No
Last minute.
Yes, no problem at all. And I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion. And I think the next couple episodes we're gonna be doing.
This is the summer. This is the summer series. We're gonna for the next few weeks we're gonna be talking about different summer movies that we enjoy.
100%.
Jaws was number 1. We have no clue what number 2 is.
We'll
But we'll figure that out.
Comment below on some of your favorite summer movies.
And maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't.
Probably won't.
Who knows?
We'll see what happens. Bye, everybody.
Oh, you're not going to tell the people where you can find yourself?
Oh, right. Where can you
Find themselves at your house.
Yeah. Where can we
people...
find you?
Where can the good
Comment
people
below.
find you, Mr. Prosser?
You can find me on Instagram at thatjprosser. You can find me on YouTube under Jesse Prosser, just my name. And then you can find Ethan and I's feature film Damned Rights on realhouse.org. Give it a rent, give it a buy, give us some support.
Where can they find you, Trent?
Just on Instagram under beware Oh my god. You can find me on Instagram at beware_the_AD.
Here, I'll find it for you guys. Just to make sure he's correct. Let's see. It's beware. Yeah, beware_the_AD.
There you go.
Oh, you can
Find
find
him
him
there.
there, yeah.
And then Ethan, where can the people find you?
They know where they can find me, Ethan R. Hill. Just Google me.
The only Ethan R.
I am the only Ethan R. Hill.
Googling him.
That's
That's googly eyes.
googly eyes.
Ethan R. Hill on Instagram, Ethan R. Hill on YouTube, Damned Rights, realhouse.org. You know the drill.
Just remembered the clips that people do of Jaws, but with googly eyes. It's so funny.
So you're telling me we could have done this whole episode with like the eyeballs that fall out?
Absolutely.
Can you add that in post? Just googly eyes on us the whole time.
Oh my god. I ain't that good at tracking. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night. Just
Take care.
Boy.